This is the Maonocaster G1 Neo, and this is probably going to be a very popular interface. I can already see it. It's cheap, it's colorful, and it does all the things you want a podcasting or gaming interface to do. Or does it? Now, I should point out that Mono sent me this as part of a package with this, the PD100X, to review as a package, and as it turns out, to promote as a package. I'm just being fully transparent here. They offered me a link for a sale price for my viewers that would put money in my pocket. I'm not going to be doing any of that because that's kind of a classic move to pad a review. I instead will be separating these two things into two separate videos, and honestly, it's probably for the best. I just wanted to bring this up to raise some awareness of how these items are being sold and that it isn't quite fully above board. Be careful when you're making your purchasing decisions. We're going to circle back on some of that in a bit, but first, let's go over what you get when you buy this, the Maonocaster G1 Neo, and don't worry, the review on this is coming up very shortly. Now, I really should point out again that this is a really cheap interface, both in monetary value and somewhat in build quality. Kind of a Zoom plastic feel, and honestly, it is extremely light. Now, that doesn't always mean cheap, but compared to other higher-end pieces of gear, yeah, it does kind of mean that here. Now, the buttons and the knobs are actually pretty decent on the unit, and honestly, when you plug it in for the first time, it really does look quite good. Of course, you get that stellar RGB, but you also get a nice-looking desk piece that I can see a lot of people being drawn in by. In fact, the actual preamps on it, they're not the worst, okay? Plugged in with an SM7B and completely cranked, I'd heard worse, but this is just with the PD100X. Let's crank it up so you can hear. And considering this thing costs about as much as a decent XLR cable, that's actually kind of impressive. As for the rest of the unit, you get all the bells and whistles that you would expect from a streamer board and for some reason, reverb. Not exactly sure why people are hell-bent over having reverb, but there you go. And of course, it has phantom power as well as Bluetooth, which is a nice touch. And on the back, you have the XLR combo port, so I guess you can run a guitar through here. You could run a guitar through there, or maybe not, because it sounds like crap. You also have a headset port, headphone outs, a speaker out, and the USB options, including one port for power if you want to do that separately. I'm not exactly sure under what circumstances you'd use that, but cool, you have it. Also, this thing has a power button, which not all interfaces have, and that's kind of cool. On the back, you even have a 1/4-inch mount, which I do need to point out that will not fit on a boom arm like this without an adapter. That 1/4-inch mount is the camera mount size, so just keep that in mind. You can hear that noise pretty clearly, right, when I crank that up. So let's try the noise reduction. So this is the low noise cancellation, which actually isn't half bad. I mean, it's a gate. That's what you're getting out of this. Oh, and you can hear some of that stuff. It kind of stomps down a little aggressively. Now this is the high noise cancellation. And I do have a bit of an issue with stuff like this because it really, really stomps down on your voice, especially if you get off mic. It can start to really kick down some of your voice and it can sound pretty horrible. And let's check out the voice changer. Now, this voice changer is actually quite interesting. I'm going to show you when I push the button. And I've already pushed the
button, and now it's working. I love the sound of these. There is a bit of a delay, which does make you talk a little slower, though. Let's press it again. 3, 2, 1. Okay, and we're
still talking. Oh, and you see that delay when I'm pressing the button to the time that the voice changes. That's all the processing power
of this unit, which is a little disappointing, but it also makes you appreciate everything
that the other companies have been going through to do this stuff. And I don't like this voice, so let's get off of that.
And oh, it took you that long to move over. Now let's check out the side chain. And this allows you to play music over either the loopback or the Bluetooth, and it allows it to duck while you're talking. So we're going to use Epidemic Sound for this, and we're going to just check out how this works. Okay. Sidechain is on. That's not too bad, actually. It kicks in pretty quickly. And then it takes a few seconds to kind of fade back in with the music. Just make sure that what you're doing is not going to be stomped on. So you kind of feel like you're part of a radio station doing this. So actually the sidechain, I actually do like that if you're looking for something like that. All in all, though, as I've been talking about this all sounds pretty good, right? Especially for this price. Well, let's talk. You see, one of the benefits of an interface like this are the numerous things you can do with the pads and all the little stuff that's on this. But while all that's really cool, there's no way to really change any of the settings. It's literally all just one button. What if your noise reduction is too aggressive for your quiet voice? Or what if the sidechain doesn't duck enough for your voice? Or maybe it ducks too much? And then you have the sound pads. Nothing preloaded. Okay, I can get past that. But you can't actually load anything onto them. You actually have to physically record it onto the pads. That means if you want that sad trombone sound, you got to go through the whole process of recording it onto the pads. And forget anything longer than a few seconds, as these pads severely lack any storage. And I should also mention, you only have 4 of them. There are no multiple banks, which when you put all that together, I don't really understand the point. And when you mix that with the lack of customizability for the rest of the effects, it starts to make me wonder about the point of this board at all. Sure, the noise reduction might be nice for you, but there really isn't anything else that should be drawing you to this unit. The RGB, I guess? Blue. It's orangish red. Pink. Actually, I kind of like the pink. What this thing needs is a companion app. Something that would let you change up some of that stuff and load stuff onto the pads. Otherwise, this thing is useless, which makes this thing kind of more of a toy pretending to be a tool. Which leads us to kind of my ultimate issue here. And that is the vibes I got when I started working with the Maono brand. Now, in the past, I've refused to work with them because their pitch was, hey, just buy it and we'll pay you back after. Wink. Then when I did finally get to work with them, all was going well until I got an email that said something to the effect of, we'll send you a link so your viewers can get a sale price and you can get money as well. And that kind of made me feel like I was part of the sales strategy. And I'm not a big fan of that. That arrangement being set up, even before I have received the gear, makes me part of the sales process, which to me is dirty. There's an immediate message to any and all to try to sell as many as possible before you've even put the pen to the review. And I know there are reviewers who are going to jump on that. So, I mean, realistically, you need to be careful when you're navigating the reviews on stuff like this, and frankly, anything being promoted by Mono from here on out. So no, this is not going to be linked below. If you do want to pick this up at a cheaper price, I'm sure you can find a bunch of videos with those links in them. For me though, I would say skip this. It's a dressed up single channel interface with Bluetooth that doesn't offer more than some shiny buttons to push. And I think from here on out, I might be out on the reviews for this level of gear. I'm a little disillusioned. Now I still have the review of the PD100X coming, and if you are in the market for this mic, you do not want to miss that. Please watch the video before you pull the trigger on this thing. It's coming soon, don't worry. Let me know what you think down below though. Cheers guys, and thanks for watching.